What's up, guys? Welcome back. So we're doing a little something different on the channel today. You're used to seeing the 22 Tundra TRD Pro here with our build we have going on. My brother-in-law Steve here has a 22 Jeep Gladiator that he wants to start doing a couple things with. We're going to start out with some side steps. We'll show you how to get them put on. Very simple install. The link will be down below the video if you like what you see. So let's get it pulled in the garage and we'll show you how to do this step by step. All right, so we just got everything out of the box. You can see, I do like what this company did. When they package it up, the green is gonna be your passenger side, so you can see all your brackets right here. And when you're looking at the pictures in the instruction manual, all you gotta do is line up the picture. So that's gonna be your front mounting bracket. That's a support bracket. That does matter where you're gonna put them. But again, there's pictures in the instruction manual, so you can see, just line up the pictures. Pay attention to, I'll show you one thing real quick. So something even minor like this. Again, this is going to be your front passenger. If you look at the front center, see how it has that little cutout right there? So again, just make sure you're matching your pictures up perfectly to get your brackets where you need to be. Even the step, the passenger's in green. The white wrap is all the driver side. And then of course you have all your different hardware right there. All right, so let's get these up on the truck. All right, guys, so I gave the company a little too much credit right out of the gates. You cannot go by the green and white packaging. That is incorrect. So I'm going to give you a look. We're going to do the driver side right here. So driver front, this is how the brackets are going to look. You can't even really go by the packaging, or I'm sorry, the pictures in the instructions, because they are also incorrect. That's the center location. You can see the center location has the slanted spot on that piece and up on that piece. That's how you know they're the center pieces. And then the driver rear has these little notches. So you can see the notch right there and then the notch right there. That's how you know they're the rear brackets. And then that's just the hardware. I'll show you as we're doing the install what you're going to need to do what. But again, I just wanted to mention you cannot go by the packaging or the instructions. They are both labeled wrong in our kit. So let's get this driver side up on the Jeep. One other thing I'll show you real quick just to make sure you have the correct ones. I don't even know if this is going to show up on the camera, but if you look really close right there above my thumb, they have a DR for driver rear engraved in the piece. Same thing on this. Again, they're not easy to spot, but if I don't know right there by my thumb if you could even see it, it's engraved DR for driver rear. All right, so just another way to know that you have the right things, you know, in the right locations. The passenger obviously had, you know, PR for passenger rear, and then the middle has DC for driver center. The front has DR for driver, or I'm sorry, DF for driver front. I'm going to show you the locations where these brackets actually attach, because on the Jeep Gladiator, there's actually 4 locations that you can attach brackets to up underneath the pinch rail. Obviously, we only have 3 brackets, so you have to make sure you put them in the right location. So the front, obviously you're looking at the front of the Jeep. If you come up underneath, the front location, and actually if you want to look, when you're looking at the pinch rail, you see these 2 open slots right here. Right up underneath there is going to be a threaded hole. So let me see if I can get you a look. Right there. Okay, you can't miss it. And the other way, you can see there's 2 open squares. It's in front of those 2 open squares. So that's where we're going to attach the front. Now the center bracket is kind of the tricky one because there's 2 center locations. There's going to be one right in that area and then one right in that area. Okay, so you have to make sure you're using it would be the second location when you're going down the Jeep, but it's the front one in the center, if that makes sense. So you have the front slot, middle spot, end spot. You're looking for the first middle spot. And again, if you come underneath here, you see these 2 open holes right there. If you look up underneath here, there's going to be another threaded location. We'll get you a look. Right there. Okay, so that's where we're going to be putting the center bracket. And then the rear, again, find these 2 open slots. Come up underneath. And right there. Okay, can't miss them. All right, so that's where we're going to be putting the rear bracket. All right, so let's start in the front. We're going to take our front driver side bracket. Looks like that. You're going to take one of the 8mm bolts, take one of the locking washers, then one of the 8mm flat washers, and all we're going to do, the location that I showed you for the front bracket, we're going to put it up underneath the truck, pop that through there and just screw it into the front location that I pointed out to you. You want to leave everything loose for right now. Don't tighten anything down. Gives you a lot of leeway when we get the steps up on the Jeep, just to kind of position it how you want it. So I'm just going to pop up underneath here and get this one started. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take the bracket for the driver front that looks like this. We're going to pop it up on the inside of the pinch rail, like so. These two open slots are going to line up with those two open holes I showed you, like so. Then you're going to take one of these 6mm bolts. You're going to put a flat washer on it, pop through the pinch rail, through the bracket on the back side, another flat washer, and then one of the corresponding locking nuts. And again, I'm just going to turn it a couple times just to get it started. And you're going to take another one of the 6mm, same thing, flat washer on there, through the pinch rail, through the bracket on the back side, another flat washer, and then another locking nut. So once you have those two started, you can notice how this bracket is on the rear side of the bracket that we just put on the pinch rail. Okay, so then you want to take one of the 10mm bolts, flat washer, go from the front, so through the bracket that's in the pinch rail, through that bracket, another flat washer, nylon locking nut. And again, don't tighten anything down yet. Just leave everything loose like that, so when we put the step up there, we're good to go. So now we're just going to simply repeat the process for the middle and the rear. Again, same bolt, same exact process. You can't screw it up. I'm not going to waste time showing it on camera. We're just going to screw this up into up underneath the rail, attach the mounting brackets, loosely secure everything, and then we'll get the steps up on the Jeep. So one other thing I want to mention, for the center location and the rear location, when you put this piece on, this bracket that goes on the pinch rail, on the front, I showed you how this bracket was on the front of this bracket. On the center and the rear locations, it's actually going to be on the rear side. So I'll have my brother-in-law kind of zoom in real quick and show you what I mean. So you can see that when you put this on here, you can see how it's on the rear of this bracket. Okay, so the front location goes on the front side, the middle and the rear go on the rear side of this bracket. And then same thing when you're using the 10mm bolt to go through the two brackets. Those you do want to go from the front to the rear. All right, so all three brackets are loosely attached to the Jeep. You can see kind of how they sit. The front, again, that second slot for the middle. That third slot is open, no bracket, and then the rear. So now what we're going to do is we're going to grab the step, and my brother-in-law and I are just going to kind of get it in position, and then you're going to take the bolts that look like this. They actually come with a locking washer and a flat washer already on them, so you can't screw it up. That's how you know you have the right bolts. So let's grab the step. And now what I'll do is I'll start here in the front, but if you look at these brackets, again, you can't really mess this up. So when you're looking at the brackets, there's a hole right here and a hole down here. That's where you're going to put those two bolts. They're actually going to screw into the step. Here, we'll flip this over and show you. So if you look, there's threaded inserts here and then on the bottom. So when you pop it on there, you can see what's going to happen. You're going to come from underneath and from the rear and screw directly into the step with these bolts. So let's just get it up there and we'll get it in position. And while my brother-in-law holds it in place, I'm just going to kind of get underneath and get a couple started. All right, so once you have everything loosely secured, you can see how these are adjustable. You can slide them slightly forward, slightly back, out from the Jeep, into the Jeep. You know, you have some adjustability there, so get them positioned however you want them. Once you have them where you want them, you're going to go back up underneath in the very first bolt that you used to attach the brackets up underneath the rail. That's a 13mm. Go ahead and tighten those three down in the three locations. There's one in each spot. Tighten those down first, and then we can go back and tighten everything else down. So get them where you want them. Steve's going to like them kind of pushed all the way into the Jeep. So we'll get them positioned there. I'll tighten those three 13mm down At that point, they're pretty well secured. You can just go ahead and go back and retighten everything else down as well, which I'll show you. I'll tell you what sizes that is and everything. So we're going to get these pushed in, get those 13s tightened down, and we'll be ready to rock. All right, now that we have those 3 tightened down, you can come back up and tighten down the 10mm bolts that we put through the pinch rail. Okay, 10mm, you're going to need 2 of them. One on the back side for the nut, one on the front side. Just go ahead and tighten down. There's gonna be 6 of those, 2 in each mounting location. So we'll get those snug down, tighten down the last bolt, and we'll give you a look at these things. Now we're gonna go back and tighten down the bolt and the nut that attached the 2 brackets together. Now for this, you're gonna need a 17mm for the nut side of it, or I'm sorry, the nut as the back side, and then you're gonna need a 16mm for the front side or the bolt head. Okay, so go ahead and tighten these down. Let's see if I can get lined up. Okay, so go ahead and repeat this in the other 2 locations. Right now we're on the center mounting location, so do it in the front and the rear. And then one last spot to tighten down, and we are done. So last 6 bolts to tighten down are the ones that are holding the steps to the brackets. So the ones that we screwed into those threaded inserts, one up underneath here and then one from the back side. That's also a 13mm. So tighten down those 6 and you are done. All right, guys, there they are. Look really good on the Gladiator there. Steve's got pretty good taste other than my sister.
Wow.
Easy install once we figured out that the instructions were wrong, but give these things a look for sure. Link will be down below. And just make sure you have the brackets in the right spot. Other than the instructions being wrong, they were pretty straightforward and easy to get on there. So rock solid, I will say. Get everything tightened down. There was no torque specs in the instructions, so I basically just, you know, tighten them down to just as tight as I thought they should be. There was no specs in the instructions. So, all right. There you go. Any questions, comments, or concerns, put them down below. We'll get them addressed for you. Thanks for watching. We will see you on the next one. Seeing the 22 Tundra TRD Pro.
It's insane!